our attorneys is a Jew.
And our housekeeper and our driver is black.
I've got good friends that are black.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that was Roy Moore's wife, and she's taking some grief over that today, which is, I heard Jamie talking about this morning. Got a call from somebody in Jefferson County, and the guy was pretty funny and called up, and he said he was Jewish, and he thought he was the only Jewish person in Jefferson County. His words, not mine. But he claimed that he didn't like to be called a Jew. That to him that was offensive. I don't know. I dated a Jewish girl pretty seriously for a while, and her dad referred to me as a Goya.
Yes.
Right? Which is just a Gentile or a non-Jew. I never really took offense to it. I don't know how people feel about it. I mean, if you're Jewish, you want to call in here and tell me, please do. 314-969-9797. Is it offensive if somebody refers to you or your family as a Jew or Jews, or do you prefer Jewish, or is it just much ado about nothing? And today is Hanukkah, so happy Hanukkah to all of you.
Yeah, I can't talk for the entire Jewish race. I have a few Jewish friends, but I don't think they mind being called Jew. But I think in any time you're using a term, it's in what context are you using it? And if you look back, during the Holocaust and all that, where Jew was said in an offensive or derogatory term, so someone could look at it in that way. But I think the overwhelming majority of Jewish people don't mind being called Jews because they call themselves Jews, majority of them. I think it's just the context that you have in your mind when you hear it.
Well, it's not just a religion. I mean, it can be an ethnicity, right?
Yeah.
You can be of Jewish descent, or you can, I guess, become Jewish if you choose to, go to a synagogue and become of the faith. I don't know. I thought I'd throw. She clearly was responding to criticism that she and her husband were anti-Semitic somehow. And I guess her argument is, if that's the case, why would we work with people who are Jewish if we were anti-Semitic? I don't know.
I think if I had to refute that argument, I'd say, if I was needing a quadruple heart bypass surgery and the best doctor in the world was Jewish, I would care less what their ethnicity is. So maybe you need good lawyers right now, and you could care less what their ethnicity is.
Well, yeah, I don't know. What are you suggesting? That she's anti-Semitic?
Not at all.
Is that what you're saying?
Not
Chris,
at
come
all.
on, just spit it out. No, I'm just kidding you. I'm just kidding you.
No, I'm not suggesting that.
Well, I just wanted to put that out there because I don't know how people feel about that. And I'm going to play this now because I talked about it on last week when we talked about the decision to make Jerusalem identified as the capital. You're not really changing anything because the Jewish people have looked at it as their capital for thousands of years. But there was the day of rage, and what I said is ultimately there's not going to be peace in the Middle East because Jerusalem is identified as the capital. There's not going to not be peace because Jerusalem is identified as the capital of Israel. Because you've got groups of people in Palestine called Hezbollah who hate the Israelis. And all the Hezbollah leader came out and made a couple of statements today, and I wanted you to hear them because this is exactly what I was trying to point out last week. Listen.
They wanted this decision to be the beginning of the end of Jerusalem and the Palestinian cause. Let's all make this foolish American decision the beginning of the end of this usurping entity forever, and let us make our slogan, approach and program, death to Israel.
That's a direct quote from the guy, right? Death to Israel. The leader of Hezbollah comes out. They've never wavered from that opinion of Israel, ever. Of course, he hates America, too. Listen.
The despair ambiance that was intended for you, the Palestinian people, and the nation to live in, I tell you with confidence, Trump's decision will be the beginning of the end of Israel.
That's not changed. This isn't something new because they're angry about Jerusalem being identified as the capital of Israel by the United States. That's been their approach all along. And Hezbollah is in bed with the PLO and everyone else in the Middle East and Jordan that surrounds Israel. They want death to Israel. So it wouldn't have mattered what happened. It was just another excuse to be angry.
Yeah. And the peace process has been stalled for, God, it's been going on for the last 50 years, but it's been stalled for the last 10 or 15 years. And so I applaud the president for making this move. In a sense, maybe it will get the peace process back going if they see, hey, we're not going to be stuck on what the capital of Israel is anymore. We've already decided this is what we believe. We're moving forward. You can either get on the train or stay behind. You know, I think we're all fooling ourselves if we ever think there's going to be a solution to this problem. You know, when both major religions of the world claim one city as their holy city, I don't see either one of these religions compromising and giving up any part of that city. You know, the final compromise is supposed to be East Jerusalem will be the capital of a
Palestinian state.
But do you really see Israel dividing Jerusalem permanently?
I don't know.
Do you really see the Palestinians accepting a partitioned Jerusalem?
I don't know. I don't, and I don't think any of us. Just pick your own town. Just pick your town.
Blackjack.
So let's assume that Blackjack, does it butt up against Hazelwood or Florissant there somewhere? So let's assume that Blackjack and Florissant are at war with each other, and somebody in Florissant keeps lobbing mortars on a daily basis over into Blackjack, right? And you have a fight with them, and you obtain some of their land to use as a buffer zone, and all of a sudden they want to become friends and they want their land back as long as they can butt right up against you. But some of the people over there are still claiming death to you, and we're going to kill everybody in Blackjack. You would be uncomfortable with that situation just as the Israelis are. And I think that's the best analogy I can think of that people need to consider for what the real problem is in the Middle East. The real problem in the Middle East is not Israel, and it's not the Jewish people in Israel. It's the fanatics that live around them that want to kill them.
And the sad thing is that what everyone always forgets is that during the Clinton administration, the Palestinians could have had their homeland. The Israelis, the Jews, had agreed to partition part of their land, to give it to them, to, I think, even partition Jerusalem. I think all of that was settled, and Arafat didn't want to take the deal. But they got everything that they wanted, and we could have had a quote-unquote peace.
It's probably because of that bad cigar Bill Clinton gave him. I'm thinking that had something to do with it.
Or they don't want it. You know, I want a Jewish prime minister, I forgot who said it, but said, you know, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict will win when the Palestinian people love their children more than they do war. And I think that's profound, and I think you can't say it any clearer than that.
That is well put. That's well put. Roy Moore, because I'm afraid we're going to run out of time here. All these polls are showing, well, the Fox News poll and several others are showing this Jones guy in the lead now. There's one from Emerson University down there that was conducted a little differently. Yeah. It was sort of a phone poll, an automated phone poll, so people could make their choice without having to talk to somebody. That one shows Moore still in the lead. Yeah. That's how I'm betting this is going to end up today.
I think Roy Moore wins. It's going to depend on the black turnout. Of course, we're not down there, so we don't know how it is on the ground. But I haven't heard if a lot of people are coming out, absentee ballots, what do they think. I think you're going to have a few Republicans that just can't vote for Moore and will vote for the Democrat. But I think that's a small percentage. But I think it's the black turnout. And black people traditionally in off elections don't come out.
So you've been involved in a lot of political campaigns, and you probably know a little bit more about polling than I do. And this is sort of a methodology question. But if you go into a place where it's overwhelmingly one party or the other, in this case Republican, and last time around the presidential election, the Republican candidate won by 25 points. Why would you go in and ask an equal number of Democrats and an equal number of Republicans how they were going to vote? How is that poll reflective of the actual voters in that state, because they're predominantly vote Republican?
But I think you have a percentage of Republicans that they are guessing will not vote for Moore at all, and they're including that into the Democratic percentage and bringing it closer to the Republican percentage. I'm not a pollster, but that's how I would think that's the methodology behind it. They think there's going to be a lot of Republicans that cross over, so they're just including them in the Democratic tally.
Could be. We'll know. They've got. It's funny because they've got a countdown clock going on all of the networks right now. 6 hours, 4 minutes, and 16 seconds till the voting is done in the state of Alabama.
I think he wins.
All eyes are on it. I do too. Chris
What
Arps,
about you, Church?
Thanks. I appreciate that.
I think something's going to happen.
There you go. Non-committal as usual.
That's the
Jason
news
Church,
guy.
thank
I forgot.
you. I know.
You can at least make that. Come on.
Hey, if you want to follow Chris on Twitter at Carps,
Like
at
fish.
CArps. Nice.
Like the fish. Thank you.
Have a good day, Chris.
You too.
Thanks. 314-969-9797. Still ahead this next hour at 2 o'clock. We're going to have Governor Greitens on the air talking